Hey everyone! I hope you're all having a wonderful day or night wherever you are in the world. Today I am doing a video all about my top 10 favorite Netflix TV shows. I know, probably all Netflix watchers, and I am with you there. I watch so many different shows on Netflix, and I just wanted to share with you guys some of the ones that I love, so that if you are in a rut and you can't seem to find a new show to watch, you can watch this video and maybe check out a new show that I love. This video is actually a collab with my new friend here on YouTube. Her name is Molly. Her username is Surprisingly Molly, and I will link her channel in the description box below. I am doing Netflix TV shows. She will be doing a video about Netflix movies. So make sure to go check out her channel, subscribe, and send her some love. Also let her know that I sent you there, and hopefully you guys enjoy her video too. So let's do this thing. These are in no particular order. I'm just going to tell you about them as I go along my list here. Yes, I did make a list. So the first show that I would highly recommend to you guys is what I'm sure plenty of people have heard. It is Grey's Anatomy. So this show is all about doctors and a hospital. It follows the main character Meredith Grey and her fellow interns, her co-workers, and her relationships. This show is good if you are someone who likes those doctor shows, or if you are also interested in drama, relationships. There's actually a lot of sex that goes on in this show. I also think that it is a very empowering show for women, because a lot of it shows how, women can be just as powerful and successful as men, especially in this type of field. So if you love doctor shows, or if you're looking for a show that's very empowering for women, I would definitely suggest this one. The next show is one that I have been watching for many years. This one is called The Vampire Diaries. You've probably also heard about this one. I would say that this one aims more towards young adult girls, so I don't know if guys would really like this show very much, but it is about a girl named Elena, and it follows her story where she meets some vampires. There's a lot of drama. It's all about supernatural characters, and it's about fantasy related things. So if you're interested in like fantasy fiction type stuff, this is a good show for that. And there's also a big love story element to it. On the fantasy fiction note, the next show is Supernatural. I don't know if you guys have seen that before, but it has been on for like 10 years. I think it's on the 11th season right now. It's still airing on TV. It is a very successful show, and it follows two brothers, Sam and Dean, who basically hunt supernatural creatures and monsters, and a lot of it has to do with like the apocalypse. It seems like the world is ending every season, so it's very suspenseful. There's a lot of fantasy and obviously supernatural things. Plus, it's also got like a humor twist on it. So if you were looking for a supernatural show with humor and comedy, this would be good for you. I will say that this is my fiance's favorite show right now. So if you are a guy and you want some cool new show to watch, I highly suggest this one. Next is Criminal Minds. If you are someone who loves like those law and crime shows, this is a great one for that. It follows this team of behavioral analysts. They study the psychology of criminals, and there's all these really creepy and mysterious cases that go on, and it's just very intense and suspenseful. If you are interested in like Law and Order or, CSI, this show is also like those shows. It's a little more intense, and it's less about like forensics and more about like the mind, as in Criminal Minds. There's very little comedy, and honestly, there's not very many happy moments in that show, so if you were looking for something to lift you up and boost your spirits, I don't think Criminal Minds would be best for that, because it can be a little bit dark and depressing at times, but it is very suspenseful and interesting. All I have to say about this one is it is good for everyone. The show I'm talking about is One Tree Hill. This is another cult favorite, and you've probably heard a lot about it. This show follows two brothers who go to the same high school, and they end up being related, but they didn't know that they were related. So they start off as arch enemies, and then they become like best friends, and basically there's a lot of stuff that goes on. There's friendships, relationships. It also has a focus on basketball, so if you are interested in like those kind of high school shows, maybe you like Degrassi. If you like shows like that, this is good for that. But let me tell you, there are so many life lessons in this show. There are so many heartfelt moments, and I have cried many times watching this show. So this show is good for anyone. My older brother even loved this show. So if you're looking for kind of a heartfelt, good feeling show, this one will definitely boost your spirits. There's a lot of comedy in it as well. And just like Grey's Anatomy, there's a lot of women empowerment in this show too. Next is Gossip Girl. This is definitely something more towards a women audience. I used to watch this show. It's actually over now, but I used to watch this when I was in like middle school and high school. This follows a girl named Serena van der Woodsen and Blair Waldorf. They are upper class girls, and they are very rich, and they live luxurious lives. They always go to like balls and events, and then they always dress in super fancy clothes. And it's a very luxurious lifestyle that they live, and so it follows them in New York. And there's a lot of drama and backstabbing and gossip and lying. It's just, there's a lot of drama in that show, and it's definitely got a focus on relationships and love life as well. So if you like drama and mean girl type society stuff, then this is a good show for that. Next, I have a comedy. This is Futurama. This was on, I believe, Adult Swim, and I recently started watching this with my fiance. Out of all the comedy shows that he has shown me, so Family Guy, American Dad, there's a few others, this one is my favorite. I love Futurama. It's basically about this guy named Fry. He basically went into like a cryogenic capsule thing, and thousands of years pass. And so when he wakes up, he's in the future, and he is in this completely different world that he doesn't know whatsoever. But mainly, it's just really funny, and it's got kind of a futuristic twist on it. This is a cartoon, so I would say it's good for girls and guys. It's a very funny show, and I highly recommend it. Next is Once Upon a Time. This show is one of my babies. I love this show so much. It is one of my favorites for sure. This show is basically all about those fairy tale stories that you know about, like Cinderella, Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, even like Peter Pan, things like that. All those stories come to life in this show. It's all like real life version of the fairy tales you know and love. And it has a lot to do with family, and it also stars some of my favorite actresses and actors. There's Jennifer Morrison, Ginnifer Goodwin. This also focuses a lot on women empowerment. I love this show because there are a lot of villains that are women, and there are a lot of heroes that are women. So if you're wondering if this show focuses on like the princes coming to save the day and everything, no, it is not like that. This show is so cool because it puts women in this powerful perspective, and it really empowers you. It makes you feel like, yeah, go women, you know? So this is a good show for that. It also just takes me back to those fairy tales of my childhood, so I highly recommend you get into this show. Once you start watching, you won't be able to stop. American Horror Story. Let's talk about that one. You've probably heard a lot about it. You've probably heard mixed reviews. I personally love this show. I will say, though, every season is basically an entirely new story. So it's not like your typical show where the seasons just kind of build off of the previous seasons and continue on the same plot line. This show has a different story every single season. It uses the same actresses and actors, but they play different characters every season. And the main theme throughout this is horror, and there's a lot of creepy stuff, gruesome stuff, mystery. I don't know. If you're interested in that kind of thing, this is good for you. I will say the first season is my favorite. It is about a haunted house, and it kind of follows a love story. But for those of you who really like an adrenaline rush and mystery and gore, this is the show for you. The last show is Switched at Birth. I started watching this show many years ago, and I love this show because it is such a family-oriented show. This is a show that children could probably watch, teenagers, parents, anyone. It is a very good show for the family. This originally started on ABC Family. I believe it's called Freeform now. It follows two sisters who were switched at birth, and when they meet, basically the two families kind of come together and work on being an entire family together. It also has a focus on relationships, love, and parenting. Not to mention, one of my favorite aspects of this show is that one of the main characters, Daphne, is in fact deaf. So there's a lot of information and insight on what it's like to be deaf. It follows her life and basically how she deals with being deaf, how she reads lips, what school she goes to for the deaf. And it's really interesting to get a new perspective on that because you don't really hear much about that today in the media. So if you are looking for a good family show with an interesting twist, I would highly suggest Switched at Birth. So those are my top 10 favorite Netflix TV shows. I'm still in the process of watching some of these, so I haven't finished any of them, so don't give me any spoilers. I know that there are a lot of shows that I didn't mention. For example, Breaking Bad, The Walking Dead, Orange is the New Black, Sons of Anarchy. Plenty of shows that I didn't mention, and the reason why I didn't mention them is because I have not watched those shows. So I will say that a lot of people seem to love those shows. I myself have not seen them yet, so I didn't want to review them for you. However, use your own judgment, pick out a show that you think you will love. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you will find a new show that you can watch. Let me know in the comments below any of your guys' favorite Netflix shows because I would love to check out something new. Like this video if you enjoyed it or found it helpful, and make sure to subscribe to my channel to see whenever I post something new. I upload videos every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys!